love of God with a world in need. Whether you've recently joined us or have supported the network from the beginning, we simply could not do what we do without your ongoing generosity. We're so appreciative of the testimonials and stories that many of our EWTN family have shared with us throughout the years. But we want to hear your story of how EWTN has had an impact on your life. Please know that we're always grateful to God for you, our EWTN family. May God bless you.
To share your story or to make a donation, please visit EWTN.com/mystory. You can also make a donation by calling us at 1-800-447-EWTN Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern, or send your donation to EWTN 5817 Old Leeds Road, Irondale, Alabama 35210.
See who's coming to the Pinto House on At Home with Jim and Joy. Next time, author Philip Campbell reveals how the Catholic Church shaped history and civilization as we know it. At Home with Jim and Joy, here on the Global Catholic Network, EWTN.
For centuries, the church has been a patron of the music, so it exists because of the church. We offer concerts that are centuries-old music, but also contemporary-based music. We have a work by the living composer Penderecki, a very exciting composer. It runs the gamut from the old to the new, but it is all music that is rooted in the church.
The Ten Commandments, God's perfect pathway to a deeper intimacy with Him.
Holy Mother Church encourages us to align ourselves with the beauty and truth of those commandments, and we have to practice. That's called virtue.
In their new series, Deacon Harold Burke-Sivers and Father Brian Mulady explore the rich and rewarding life that follows in the shadow of God's moral law.
God chose to reveal to us the fullness of what our moral conduct should be like.
Unleash the enduring power and freedom of God's blueprint for a happy life. It's all new.
Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern on EWTN.
Have you ever wondered how you can get the word out about EWTN? All you've got to do is spread your wings. It's easy. When you get yours, send it to all your friends, and they can send it to their friends. And pretty soon, we're covering the whole world with the good news about EWTN. Wings is the weekly newsletter that's packed with program info, features, and updates of all that's going on at the Global Catholic Network. Not a subscriber? To sign up is easy. Just go to EWTN.com/wings. Fill out your name and email address, and you'll start getting your wings every week. Then, just click the link, and you can join the rest of us covering the whole world with the good news about EWTN. Wings, the weekly newsletter from EWTN, the Global Catholic Network.
Why do you call me Lord, Lord, and not do what I tell you? Luke chapter 6, verse 46.
EWTN. Live truth. Live Catholic.
It is 2 a.m. in our nation's capital, and we are still awaiting results from several key battleground states as we are taking a live look right now from the White House, where the president is expected to speak any moment now. This is EWTN News Nightly live coverage of Election Day 2020. And I am joined right now from the election desk by Capitol Hill correspondent Eric Rosales. Eric, we are keeping a close watch on the race for the White House and also key Senate races from across the country.
That's right, Tracy. A very busy night as battleground states are still too close to call. Let's take a look at the very latest results from the Associated Press. This is a look at the electoral map Former Vice President Joe Biden has 224 Electoral College votes, while President Trump has 212. Again, 213, that is. Again, still too close to call. Tracy.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Eric. And we do have team coverage tonight. Eric, of course, is watching the balance of power in the Senate. Owen Jensen is at the White House, where President Donald Trump is watching the results. And Mark Irons is in Delaware with the Joe Biden campaign. And the former vice president spoke just a short time ago in Wilmington, trying to set a confident tone that his campaign will prevail. We're going to go straight to Mark right now to talk a little bit more about Joe Biden's comments. Mark.
That's right, Tracy. Joe Biden did make remarks just before 1 a.m. right behind me in the very same location where he accepted the Democratic nomination. The former vice president sounded optimistic and confident, even as this election result in all the states and battleground states, the election results keep coming in. Let's take a listen to what he said.
We feel good about where we are. We really do. I'm here to tell you tonight, we believe we're on track to win this election. We knew because of the unprecedented early vote and the mail-in vote that it was going to take a while. We're going to have to be patient until the hard work of tallying the votes is finished. And it ain't over till every vote is counted.
As the ballot counting continues, the former vice president said he's feeling good about the key battleground states of Arizona, Wisconsin, and Michigan. And he told supporters outside the Chase Center behind me to keep the faith. He also predicted a victory in Pennsylvania. And although Senator Kamala Harris did not appear with him, the former vice president said we would be hearing from her a little later this morning. Tracy?
Okay, thank you so much, Mark. Correspondent Mark Irons reporting for us tonight. Eric?
Well, Tracy, we're also tracking the president's reaction from the White House. Let's go to correspondent Owen Jensen with the latest. Owen.
Eric, good morning to you. I should say a very early Wednesday morning from the North Lawn of the White House. The race for 270 electoral votes, as you mentioned earlier, continues full speed ahead. Now, a short while ago on Twitter, President Donald Trump called it a big win. And he also said this on Twitter, and I'll read it for you verbatim here as we put it up on the screen. We are up big, but they are trying to steal the election. We will never let them do it. Votes cannot be cast after the polls are closed. Well, Twitter flagged that, saying it's misleading. In fact, states allow voters to cast ballots if they are in line when polls close. Now, President Trump says he'll make a statement soon. In fact, the East Room of the White House is set up, so he'll address the nation very shortly. Not sure exactly when, but we'll let you know when he does. And, Eric, that's the latest here from the White House.
Oh, and real quick, we spoke a few hours ago about Florida being huge, and now it's President Trump's.
Absolutely right, Eric. As a matter of fact, Florida, Ohio, Iowa, and Texas all in President Donald Trump's camp tonight. Florida with its 29 electoral votes, and Texas coming in with 38. So we'll stay out here as the battle drags on. Eric?
White House correspondent Owen Jensen reporting tonight. Thank you so much, Owen.
President Donald Trump and Democratic challenger Joe Biden are locked in tight races in battleground states across the country, with several races still too close to call. Joining me now on Skype is Andrew Walworth, Chief Content Officer of Real Clear Politics. Andrew, welcome back. Good to speak with you again. As we know, the polls in the West Coast are closed now. Joe Biden takes California and its 55 electoral votes in the race for president. But as we know, this race is far from over. What are your thoughts on how the election is shaping up right now at this point?
Well, I think it's shaping up sort of the way people predicted, in that everyone said it would come down to Pennsylvania. We've been talking about that at Real Clear for quite some time, Tracy, that this would come down to Pennsylvania, and it looks like it's going to be that. It looks like it's going to be a long night and maybe a long week. I think that the turnout of Hispanic voters in Florida was something which people had talked about, but I think that took a lot of people by surprise. And I think that overall, at this point, if I were, this sort of idea of a red mirage and a blue followed by a blue wave, we might be seeing some of that. I think does look like the late votes, the votes that were being counted late in states like Pennsylvania, which are actually the earlier votes that were mailed in, are trending towards Biden, which is what people expected.
Andrew, another thing I want to talk about is the impact of the Catholic vote on this presidential election. In our EWTN Real Clear Opinion Research poll, likely Catholic voters gave former Vice President Joe Biden a lead over President Donald Trump, but the battleground states, well, they were much tighter. Do you have any sense yet of how that's influencing tonight's results?
It's, the only numbers that I've seen are out of Florida, where Catholics broke for Biden, I think, by 53. Broke for Trump by 53 to 47%. So you really can't extrapolate the national numbers onto a place like Florida. But what you can say is that I think at this point you could predict that the Catholic vote in Pennsylvania would be very important. I think that the pro-life vote in Pennsylvania, could be critical in terms of determining that state, and that may determine the whole election.
Indeed. Another thing that we're keeping our eye on is also, of course, the balance of power in the Senate. As you know, GOP Senator Lindsey Graham was able to actually hold on to his seat in South Carolina. What are some of the other races that you're watching?
Well, it started with the GOP has a 53 to 47 majority. It looks like the Democrats would have to take 4 or 5 seats in order to flip that. It doesn't look like they're going to flip it. I think the most interesting race right now is in Michigan, where John James leads. That would be a pickup for the GOP. He's an African-American veteran, successful businessman. He's running against Gary Peters, who's a one-term senator. James would be the first GOP senator from Michigan in 40 years, and tells you something about what's happening in that state. I think at this point, with about 61% reporting, he's up about 54 to 44% against Peters. So that's probably good for him. And it's probably also good for Trump in Michigan.
Andrew, before we close things out, any final thoughts, and also anything that surprised you so far about this night?
What has surprised me? I think it was interesting that Fox called Arizona so early. I think that seems like a sort of inside baseball, but I think it's an interesting question. And I think there'll be a lot of debate about polling, whether or not there was a shy Trump voter phenomenon this time around, because it seems like a lot of the polls were quite a bit off, especially the state polls. So I think there's always something, and 2020 has been quite a year. So in some sense, nothing would have surprised me. But I think that at this point, it looks like some of the polls were quite a bit off, and that will be something that people will be looking at and talking about for quite some time.
Yeah, there's another thing I want to get your take on is, we heard from former Vice President Joe Biden earlier, and the president is getting ready to speak in a moment. Any sense of maybe what he might be saying?
Well, I think what he said in his tweets is that and what he said consistently is that he's afraid that the election might be stolen, or that there'll be some sort of fraud. I don't have any particular insight into what he's going to say, but I can't, knowing what he said before, I think he'd say that again. I was sort of surprised that Biden came out and spoke the way he did after they had been so critical of Trump. And saying that they feared that Trump would come out and speak before the results were known, but Biden beat him to the punch, and Trump is a counterpuncher. He's going to punch back. So I'm not surprised that Trump is doing it. As a matter of fact, as soon as Biden announced he was going to do it, I said Trump will be out momentarily.
Yeah, we will see what happens. It's definitely going to be interesting, for sure. Andrew Walworth, Chief Content Officer of Real Clear Politics, thanks so much for your analysis, and thanks for coming on this early morning hour. We appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you, Tracy.
And there is more than the presidential election tonight. We know that. There are also several crucial races in the U.S. Senate. Republicans are projected to win 47 seats, with Democrats expected to win 46. 51 spots are needed for a majority. Eric Rosales is keeping an eye on all the developments for us. Eric, good to see you again. Let's talk about some of the big states that you're watching right now as Senate results continue to come in. Which races are you watching?
Well, Tracy, watching a number of races, and the numbers are changing by the minute. Let's take a look at Arizona. As we know, former Vice President Joe Biden has led in Arizona, and it seems the trend is continuing for his Democratic contenders for the Senate. As we take a look at Mark Kelly right now at 54%. Senator Martha McSally is currently trailing right now. Now, if Mark Kelly wins, both senators from Arizona will be Democrat, which hasn't happened since the 1950s. And because Senator McSally was appointed, not elected, Mark Kelly could take office as soon as November 30th. Another closely watched race is in North Carolina. Republican incumbent Senator Thom Tillis won his seat by less than 60,000 votes some 6 years ago, and now it appears that the trend is continuing. He is in the fight for his Senate seat against Democratic Cal Cunningham. Cunningham, a former state senator who led in the polls early, but disclosed that he had an extramarital affair during the race, and it's still very close to call with no clear winner. Tracy?
Eric, I know you're also watching Iowa as well as Maine. Let's talk about those races right there.
Yeah, in Maine, GOP Senator Susan Collins is ahead right now, and she has a very large lead over her Democratic challenger, Sarah Gideon. But let's not forget the attempt to appeal to voters. Moderate Republican Susan Collins refused to support President Trump's U.S. Supreme Court nominee, Amy Coney Barrett. She broke away from her party and decided to vote with Democrats. Now in Iowa, Republican incumbent Senator Joni Ernst is projected to win. According to the Associated Press, Senator Ernst will keep her seat. And you may recall Senator Ernst, who sits on the Judiciary Committee, is a strong pro-life senator and is a close ally to President Trump when he flipped the state red in 2016.
Yeah, Eric, and both sides were watching the state of Georgia very closely. 2 seats are up for grab there. How are things doing in that state right now?
Well, Republican Senator David Perdue is currently leading his Democratic opponent, Jon Ossoff, by 7 points. Now, Senator Perdue did take some heat for missing the final debate between the two. As for the special election, right now it appears that there will be a runoff between Republican incumbent Senator Kelly Loeffler and Democratic contender Raphael Warnock. Reverend Warnock is the Baptist pastor of the late Dr. Martin Luther King's congregation, and he has been since 2005. The special election will take place January 5th, and it could prove to be a major race regarding control of the Senate. And Montana Republican Steve Daines, chair of the pro-life caucus, is projected to be reelected, so it could be a while before we know the true balance of power in the United States Senate. Tracy.
Okay, thank you so much, Eric. We'll see how everything shakes out. And make sure you stay with us for our continuing coverage on EWTN News Nightly, special election coverage. Stay with us.
For more than 150 years, Catholics in the USA have placed their lives, hopes, dreams, and concerns under the special patronage of Mary, the Mother of God. Now, more than ever, we need to join together to turn to her in prayer through the Holy Rosary, to ask for healing in our church. To aid this effort, we are pleased to be offering a unique rosary from Gorelli, featuring a special crucifix with red and blue enamel stars and stripes on the front, and One Nation Under God on the back. On the center is an image of Our Lady over a map of the United States with Psalm 33:12 on the back. Every Hail Mary bead has each state's individual abbreviation on it. This collector rosary is available now at EWTNRC.com for just $36. To order, go to EWTNRC.com and search for item number 19183. The Blessed is the Nation Rosary for America. Order yours today.
Hi, I'm Johnette Williams. Is it possible that God is raising up a new army to meet the unprecedented trials and tensions we face in the world today? An army of joyfully dedicated singles who seek God alone for the singular purpose of being leaven in our day and time? We'll talk about it with guest Lou Ann Zerlo. That's Women of Grace, today at 1 p.m. Eastern, here on EWTN.
O Holy Father, who dwellest in heaven, we are thy children, since thou dost will to be called our Father. May thy name be hallowed, honored, glorified. May thy perfections be praised and exalted more and more upon the earth. May we manifest in ourselves, by our works, the splendor of thy grace. Extend then thy reign. May thy kingdom ever increase, this kingdom which is also that of thy Son, since thou hast made him the head of it. May thy Son be truly the King of our souls, and may we testify to his kingship over us by the perfect accomplishment of thy will. May we, like him, ever seek to adhere to thee by fulfilling thy good pleasure, thy eternal designs for us, so as to be like Jesus in all things, and through him, worthy children of thy love. Amen.
Welcome back. Polls across the nation are now closed, and President Donald Trump and Democratic challenger Joe Biden are locked in a tight race in key battleground states. Now, Dr. Peter Cross, assistant professor of Thomas Aquinas College, joins me now on Skype to talk more about the race for the White House. And Dr. Cross, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Again, we're waiting for President Trump to speak, so we may have to interrupt this conversation. But as for now, Joe Biden is ahead in the count of the Electoral College votes, and we're still waiting for the results of several states. What are your thoughts on what we've seen tonight?
Well, thus far, I've seen what I was expecting to see, which is a very close race. It looks like it's going to come down to a few key battleground states, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin being the primary ones. I think one of the more interesting things I've noticed thus far has been the what I think was a surprising turnout for Hispanic voters in favor of Trump in certain areas of Florida that might have been key for him winning the state down there. I think that shows an interesting possible shift in terms of the party lines going forward in the years to come.
And what will you be watching as the returns continue to come in? Any sort of trends besides the Hispanic vote that you're keeping an eye on?
Well, the main trends I'm keeping an eye on right now are the counts, the vote counts in key counties in Pennsylvania and Wisconsin. The count in Milwaukee is particularly important since there hasn't been a whole lot of votes coming in there at this point. So whether Milwaukee swings the Wisconsin in favor of Joe Biden, Vice President Biden, or whether it allows things to stay as they are in favor of Donald Trump is going to be very important for who is our president.
Most definitely, and both President Donald Trump and Democratic nominee Joe Biden have appealed to the faithful for votes. And how do you see the role of religion that it's played in this election?
Well, at this point, it's rather difficult to tell since there's not a lot of information regarding how Catholics have voted in this election thus far, at the very least. I do think that if the Catholic vote swings in Donald and President Trump's favor, it's going to be largely because of the pro-life issue. He's done several key things to promote those who want to live according to the pro-life teaching of the church, especially the repeal of the HHS mandate being one of the major ones, as well as the nomination of Supreme Court justices that might allow pro-life policies to go forward. If the Catholic vote swings in favor of President Biden, I think it's going to be on his appeal to failures in the president's character and his appeal to what he would present as a lack of the president's concern for the full broad spectrum of rights of individuals.
Well, it's definitely had an influence on voters. Any surprises that you saw tonight?
Possibly the biggest surprise is the way Arizona has gone. I was not necessarily expecting Arizona to get called this quickly.
Okay, Dr. Peter Cross, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to go live to President Donald Trump, who is going to be making a speech. I'm sorry, Doctor, but thank you so much for joining us. Let's go live to President Trump now at the White House.
All right, and as Eric said, we are waiting for the president.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Please sit. Thank you. This is without question the latest news conference I've ever had. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it very much. And I want to thank the American people for their tremendous support. Millions and millions of people voted for us tonight. And a very sad group of people is trying to disenfranchise that group of people. And we won't stand for it. We will not stand for it. I want to thank the First Lady, my entire family, and Vice President Pence, Mrs. Pence, for being with us all through this. And we were getting ready for a big celebration. We were winning everything, and all of a sudden it was just called off. The results tonight have been phenomenal, and we are getting ready. I mean, literally, we were just all set to get outside and just celebrate something that was so beautiful, so good, such a vote, such a success. The citizens of this country have come out in record numbers. This is a record. There's never been anything like it. To support our incredible movement, we won states that we weren't expected to win. Florida, we didn't win it. We won it by a lot. And we won the great state of Ohio. We won Texas. We won Texas. We won Texas by 700,000 votes, and they don't even include it in the tabulations. It's also clear that we have won Georgia. We're up by 2.5% or 117,000 votes with only 7% left. They're never going to catch us. They can't catch us. Likewise, we've clearly won North Carolina, where we're up 1.4% or 77,000 votes with only approximately 5% left. They can't catch us. We also, if you look and you see, Arizona, we have a lot of life in that. And somebody declared that it was a victory for, and maybe it will be. I mean, that's possible. But certainly there were a lot of votes out there that we could get, because we're now just coming into what they call Trump territory. I don't know what you call it, but these were friendly Trump voters. And that could be overturned. The gentleman that called it, I watched tonight, he said, well, we think it's fairly unlikely that he could catch. Well, fairly unlikely. And we don't even need it. We don't need that. That was just a state that if we would have gotten it, it would have been nice, Arizona. But there's a possibility, maybe even a good possibility. In fact, since I saw that originally, it's been changed, and the numbers have substantially come down just in a small amount of votes. So we want that, obviously, to stay in play. But most importantly, we're winning Pennsylvania by a tremendous amount of votes. We're up 600. Think of this. Think of this. Think of this. We're up 690,000 votes in Pennsylvania. 690,000. These aren't even close. It's not like, oh, it's close. With 64% of the vote in, it's going to be almost impossible to catch. And we're coming into good Pennsylvania areas where they happen to like your president. I mean, it's like very good. So we'll probably expand that. We're winning Michigan, but I'll tell you, I looked at the numbers. I said, whoa. I said, wow, that's a lot. By almost 300,000 votes, and 65% of the vote is in. And we're winning Wisconsin, so we're winning. We don't need all of them. We need, because when you add Texas in, which wasn't added, I spoke with the really wonderful governor of Texas just a little while ago, and Greg Abbott, he said, congratulations. He called me to congratulate me on winning Texas. I mean, we won Texas. I don't think they finished quite the tabulation, but there's no way. And it was almost complete, but he congratulated me. Then he said, by the way, what's going on? I've never seen anything like this. Can I tell you what? Nobody has. So we won by 107,000 votes with 81% of the vote. That's Michigan. So when you take those three states in particular, and you take all of the others, I mean, we have so many, we had such a big night. You just take a look at all of these states that we've won tonight, and then you take a look at the kind of margins that we've won them by. And all of a sudden, it's not like we're up 12 votes and we have 60% left. We won states, and all of a sudden, I said, what happened to the election? It's off. And we have all these announcers saying, what happened? And then they said, oh, because you know what happened? They knew they couldn't win. So they said, let's go to court. And did I predict this, Newt? Did I say this? I've been saying this from the day I heard they were going to send out tens of millions of ballots. I said exactly, because either they were going to win, or if they didn't win, they'll take us to court. So Florida was a tremendous victory, 377,000. Texas, as we said. Ohio, think of this. Ohio, a tremendous state, a big state. I love Ohio. We won by 8.1%, 461,000. Think of it. Almost 500,000 votes. North Carolina, big victory with North Carolina. And so we won there. We lead by 76,000 votes with almost nothing left. And all of a sudden, everything just stopped. This is a fraud on the American public. This is an embarrassment to our country. We were getting ready to win this election. Frankly, we did win this election. We did win this election. So our goal now is to ensure the integrity for the good of this nation. This is a very big moment. This is a major fraud in our nation. We want the law to be used in a proper manner. So we'll be going to the U.S. Supreme Court. We want all voting to stop. We don't want them to find any ballots at 4 o'clock in the morning and add them to the list, okay? It's a very sad moment. To me, this is a very sad moment, and we will win this, and we, as far as I'm concerned, we already have won it. So I just want to thank you, and I want to thank all of our support. I want to thank all of the people that worked with us, and Mr. Vice President, say a few words, please. Please.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to join you in thanking more than 60 million Americans who have already cast their vote for 4 more years for President Donald Trump in the White House. And while the votes continue to be counted, we're going to remain vigilant, as the President said. The right to vote has been at the center of our democracy since the founding of this nation, and we're going to protect the integrity of the vote. But I really believe with all of my heart, with the extraordinary margins, Mr. President, that you've inspired in the states that you just described, and the way that you launched this movement across the country to make America great again, I truly do believe, as you do, that we are on the road to victory and we will make America great again. Thank you, Mr. President.
All right, and there you have it right there. That was the President and Vice President Pence talking about the election so far. And speaking of the election and the results, we will continue covering those for you tomorrow as well. And thank you for watching this special edition of EWTN News Nightly.
That is correct. Be sure to stay with us all week right here on EWTN News Nightly for the very latest in the race for the White House. I'm Eric Rosales.
And I'm Tracy Sable. Have a great night, and God bless.
Hello, family. Ever since Mother Angelica founded EWTN almost 40 years ago, our network has been funded by faithful Catholics from all walks of life. Young families, single people, grandmothers in nursing homes, parish priests, and the list goes on. To everyone who's donated to our mission, I want to take the opportunity today to say thank you. It's because of your prayers and donations that we can share the daily Mass with those who are homebound. It is through your support that we can proclaim the truth and beauty of the Church and her teachings. And most importantly, we can share the love of God with a world in need. Whether you've recently joined us or have supported the network from the beginning, we simply could not do what we do without your ongoing generosity. We're so appreciative of the testimonials and stories that many of our EWTN family have shared with us throughout the years. But we want to hear your story of how EWTN has had an impact on your life. Please know that we're always grateful to God for you, our EWTN family. May God bless you.
To share your story or to make a donation, please visit EWTN.com/mystory. You can also make a donation by calling us at 1-800-447-EWTN Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern, or send your donation to EWTN 5817 Old Leeds Road, Irondale, Alabama 35210.
EWTN. Live truth. Live Catholic.